Today is Thursday, November 21st, 2024. I left the warehouse around 4 today so I could make it over to a Regus office location near where I live. For those who haven't heard of Regus, they're a global company that offers office space on both short and long-term leases. The nice thing is the offices come furnished, the buildings are in good areas, and the price includes Wi-Fi and all utilities. I've realized I'm just not wired to work from home. I need the routine of getting ready, driving somewhere, and walking into a workspace. It's part of what gets my mind in gear. Compared to leasing traditional office space, Regus is much simpler. With a normal lease, you're usually locked in for a fixed term, and the nicer the location, the longer the lease. My old office was in a rough part of town. Even that came with a 3-month minimum. Plus, with the traditional lease, you're paying for more space than you probably need when you're a one-person operation. The costs add up fast, too. You have to pay first and last month's rent up front. Utilities require deposits. My last power deposit was $275, and monthly utilities were around $150 a month. Some offices even run natural gas for heat, which adds another bill in the winter. Then there's internet, which can be another $150 a month. With Regus, all of that's included in the rent. And beyond the cost, I like that I won't be isolated in a warehouse all day. There are people here. It feels more like being part of something. This particular location is a bonus. It shares a parking lot with Scottsdale Fashion Square. There's even private underground parking for $20 a month, which is worth it just for the convenience. Restaurants and stores are only steps away, which is a big upgrade from the industrial areas I've been working in recently. So I decided to sign a lease here. My rent will be $850 a month, including parking. I can move in early that week of November 25th, which is a short week because of Thanksgiving. I plan to work that Friday though, so really it's only one day off. Parking might be rough that day, but if I get there early, I'll be fine. The underground lot has a gate, so that'll help. It feels like a fresh start, something new. I spent so many years working in warehouses and industrial zones, this feels like the opposite of that. Clean, bright, good energy. I'm ready for it. Michelle and I have always been pretty ambitious people. Throughout our careers, we've carried each other at different times. When I was getting offsite off the ground, she held us together, emotionally and financially. As an entrepreneur, that kind of support is everything. But it's a two-way street. You can't expect it, you have to give it back. Lately, Michelle's been under a lot of stress at work, and I could tell something deeper was weighing on her. Losing Dexter hit her hard. We don't have kids, and Dexter was our first dog. He was part of our everyday life, and they were especially close. I realized what she needed wasn't just time off. She needed space to breathe and something new to focus on. So I planned a quick getaway to Bisbee, Arizona. It's an old mining town tucked near the Mexico border in southeastern Arizona. I found us a cool hotel called the Carrick and booked us a 2-night stay. The place was perfect. Old character, a huge 2-story room with living area, kitchen, 3 bedrooms. It even had a Christmas tree.
Upstairs, do that in your living room. Check that out a little bit. Nice kitchen. Sitting room. We have our own Christmas tree. Right here.
Oh my god, we just walked right by it. Oh.
Yeah, I'll have to figure out how to turn that on.
Well, here's it from this one. Here, please.
We have a Christmas tree.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, well, let's FaceTime Rachel, see if she wants to see it.
And then there's 2 bedrooms upstairs.
The best part was the rooftop deck. We had it all to ourselves, with lights strung up and a view of the stars. That first night, we walked to a small restaurant nearby, had dinner, and then just sat out on the roof talking. The next morning, we toured the old copper mine. They gave us vests, lights, and helmets. And we rode this little train deep underground. It was simple but fun, something different. Afterward, we wandered around town and just took it easy. Bisbee's a charming town, but it moves slow. Most places don't open till mid-morning. 2 nights there felt like the right amount. On the way home, we stopped in Tombstone. I discovered that town years ago when I was delivering copiers for offsite, and we stayed there once before. The history there is incredible, and being back reminded us why we loved it. We'll go again for sure.
getting ready for a day of...
Western stuff.
That guy's getting ready for a shootout. Cutie John's barbecue.
Yeah, there's so much more. Look at nice restaurants.
A bagel and a latte. You don't drink lattes or bagels. Next.
When we got home that night, I could tell the trip helped. Michelle was lighter, calmer. Later, we were watching TV. I sent her a text, a link to Arizona Small Dog Rescue. I'd been looking at it earlier and saw some dogs that needed homes. She gave me a dirty look at first, but 10 minutes later, she was sending me pictures of dogs she liked. While Dexter can't be replaced and never will be, I think having another dog in our lives might help her heal. We'll see where it leads. Tuesday, November 26, 2024, 7:09. Working on stuff yesterday, plugging along. Didn't check the offsite email until last night before bed. I don't know what I was thinking. So I checked it, and there's a couple gems in there just waiting for me. And so one's we had Canon. They're both Canon, which is just great. And one of them was carpet damage at schools, but I was told that we didn't do it. And so they said, hey, we didn't do the carpet damage there. We just picked up the equipment, but it looked like someone rolled from the pictures. It's it's a fucking 20-foot wide wall plus in a school. I mean, it's wide, and this black line right down the middle of it, and it's not a line that can be scrubbed out. It's some dumb pushing a copier with a locked up wheel, dragging and leaving a big long black mark down it. I'm not seeing it or anything. I was told, oh no, we didn't do that. We just picked them all up in the room. They had them staged there for us that day. This alleged damage happens October 4th, which is the date the business closed. So I still had the business on the 4th. And so email from, hey, it looks like it was one of your guys. They sent a video. And so I tried to look at the video last night. I couldn't see it. And then they sent an invoice, $25,000. I got to make sure it just gets sent to the insurance. I don't want to deal with it. That's not going to be my cross to bear. I had insurance there. I have plenty of insurance, and I'm going to use the insurance. And that's what insurance is for. That's fine. But still kind of, what's the video? I couldn't see it. So it's just going through my head and stressing myself out, but then just going either way. It turns out to be an insurance claim. If it's us, if it's not, no big deal. The second part was Canon, back to the superstar that clicks on all the spams and puts in his email addresses and passwords. Apparently, I guess, I don't know. So he was the one that got hacked, and then they sent an email from his email to Canon saying, hey, we'd like to change, greetings, we'd like to change our ACH, our bank account for ACH. Please change this promptly. And for the first time ever, Canon just changed it. They sent the request, and then we got rid of dumb shit like a week after, I think, something like that. Seeing that he'd been compromised by clicking on spam and some other stuff, I just deleted his whole email. And so what these guys did was they had to create a new email for the second email from that we didn't know was going on. And so they did that, and then their checks and balances, because they had to check with me, the hackers made up a fresh new email address for me that wasn't even close to offsite. It doesn't even have an offsite domain, and they used that. And then they had to speak to me, and so they had a fake phone number, and they called the fake phone number, didn't answer. They said, well, we'll call you. And so they called and allegedly spoke to me. We catch that there's an issue. We're pushing Canon for probably 2 weeks on where's the payment on this thing. And then we catch when they finally say, oh yeah, there was a payment. The payment was sent. We're like, no, it wasn't. We caught it a day or two. I don't remember how it went down. I think we alerted them like 2 or 3 days before they sent the wire. They still ignored us. And then the last day we're like, oh yeah, we sent the wire to the new bank account that Scott set up. I'm like, no, I didn't. That was fraud. And so that was $8,700. Now Canon came back yesterday. This was May. Canon came back yesterday and emailed and said, oh, the insurance, they have a bill pay company. The insurance rejected it because the email initiated from an offsite email address, and then started blaming, like, how did your IT department let this get through or something like that? I'm like, dude, he's not even authorized to change the bank account. So you're telling me, just make sure I understand this correctly, that if anybody sends an email from an offsiteequipment.com email domain requesting to change the ACH account, perhaps, it's valid. Doesn't matter what their position, authority, what their name, title, or anything is, they can just do it. And obviously, check the domain. Well, did they check it on the second email? Because it sure wasn't the same email address then. Did they check my email address domain? Because it sure wasn't the same domain there. Did they check the phone number? They had these checks and balances in place. They're supposed to contact both me and Michelle. 2 people changes. When we first set up the ACH with Canon, it took a month and a half, I believe, to do it. And we had to jump through all these hoops with all these different people and sending stuff on letterhead and doing all these things. And in this situation, they went off the word of account manager from a fake address after that. And then they just fell for all the fake addresses. I'm the one that's supposed to eat the $8,700. This is why you don't start a transportation and logistics company. Couldn't fall asleep right after reading that. I was up for probably 3 hours. Going to offsite today to do more of the tools, machines to get those to Ontario. And tomorrow's the day before Thanksgiving, so I'm gonna move a bunch of stuff over to my Regus office, and that'll be my work location going forward.